Hi guys, welcome to another Kamikaze creation video. This is the first in a series of videos of the installation and firstly the teardown of my Shane Barnett Performance Engineering Supercharger. So it's finished, Shane's given me the nod, I've paid the final amount and it's programmed for delivery for the 2nd, and it's coming up with TNT. And a lot of the times I bought things that have come through TNT Freight Company. It's one of the best ones in town. It can be overnight, so I'm very excited about receiving that. So that'll leave Melbourne on the 2nd, and hopefully I'll receive it on the 3rd. If not, I'll definitely have it on the 4th, which will be absolutely awesome. So thank you, Shane, for the build. It's been a long run, but Shane is an absolute artisan. He's a fanatic. He, when it comes to perfection, he has done an awesome job on this and been sending me pictures and upgrades and changes. Because it was the last one, he thinks it's pretty special as well. He's treated it in a way that only he could. Shane is an absolute legend in the industry, I've noticed. Just from reading different posts when things are put out there, he's known quite well and produces really top quality stuff. So I'm excited about getting it. I know it's not going to be perfect. I know I'm going to have challenges and troubles, and that's probably going to be mostly me, but Shane's guaranteed me that he'll stick with me through the process. It is pretty much a plug and play unit. I've paid maximum dollars for maximum hardware basically, and the full harness is tagged, and it really is join the dots, connect the wires, bolt it on, and get to know the ECU a bit. It's running in the EM80 ECU, and I know nothing about that, but I've downloaded the manuals and I do a bit of reading. But it does have a setup mode, and I'll show you the wideband O2 sensor that I've put into this car already. It needs some work, needs some modification, needs some repair, but that with the ECU will eventually tune the car. So anyway guys, going to get into it and show you the teardown process and where some of the things are going for the installation of this unit. Stick with me. So this is the current beast as it stands, and for those of you that don't know what I've done up to this date, it's the original 173 motor that I was fortunate enough to get with the car when I bought it. Over there under that towel is the 202 that came with it, which wasn't a bad motor, but she was a little bit lumpy and didn't idle real well, and honestly didn't go that well. So I rebuilt this engine to the specs that Shane gave me. It's a 173. It's got a 12-port aluminium Yellow Terra head, 72cc, which makes it incredibly low compression. One of the other issues I have had with it being low compression, I have used an Ozspeed manifold, and from the reading and the information that I've gleaned, these don't help with combustion. The Sonic manifold apparently is a much better manifold, gets that fuel to atomize a bit better, and gets the car to run a bit better. But anyway, this is work for my application. Again, I've got a set of extractors on it. These are Lukey extractors, I think they are. Pacemaker extractors these are. And I'm tossing up whether I use them over here. Again, these are built by Ozspeed, a set of 2-piece extractors that would need to be joined together and tucked out, because I want to put a big exhaust system. I'm planning on a 3-inch system. Whether I can do that, I'm not sure, but I've got to start pulling some of this gear out of here. So let's get into it. So that's the Holley off. Pretty happy to be getting rid of that 350 Holley, very old school. I had a ram flow air cleaner on it, which was quite alright, looked quite nice on the car. And there's the Speed manifold. Now I was told to have a look. I said if I took the carby off this Speed manifold, I'd actually see pools of fuel sitting down inside it, and that definitely is the case. So I'll see if we can have a look. This side doesn't look that bad, which is the front 3 cylinders, but on the back 3, definitely pools of fuel sitting inside the manifold. Anyway, that's the next thing to come off. So there we go, guys. Got the inlet manifold off. That's a 12-port manifold that I bought as a stopgap measure to get this engine running without the supercharger kit. If we go back over here and have a look at the motor, I'm now down to the point where I can take those extractors off, and the main reason I'm going to take these extractors off that I welded a wideband O2 sensor grommet into the exhaust while it was on the car, and I think I've failed miserably there trying to weld it in under the car, and I reckon I've got an air gap, because when I hooked the O2 sensor up to this engine, it was reading maximum lean on the gauge that I could have. So I'll take that out, have a look at it, and do a repair job on it if I decide to use these extractors again. So there's the extractors off, and you can see there that wideband O2 plug, and it's a shocker of a weld job, so I'm not even going to show you that. And start to break it down to clear the way for that new manifold. Another issue with that old set of extractors, and when I was talking to the original owners of this car, they mentioned exactly the same thing. When they were putting the extractors on, these exhaust ports, the piece in the extractors was sitting back a fraction. I noticed when I was bolting them up that I had to really tighten up those bolts. And you can see down here the leakage that's been coming out. A little bit of that's drained out since I've taken them out, but you can see the blow-by down there, like it's blowing out the bottom of the extractors. So that's another reason to either fix them and get that area to pull forward, or build the other set of extractors up to go on here. I'm also running a Davis Craig setup you would have seen in my previous videos, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to stay with that at this stage. It looks nice in the car, but the EM80 ECU that comes with the kit, I think Shane has also set that up to run my thermo fans. So that's a decision point when I get there. But I've got to get down a little bit further into the engine. I've originally been told that I've got about 30 mils extra on the front of the motor. Now I've got heaps of room down there on that harmonic balancer. I think you can just see it down there. So I should be good for that clearance. But I'm going to have to drop the fluid out of the radiator, because I've got to take off the thermostat housing. It's got all of the temperature sensors built into it, the one that's coming from Shane. So I'll drop that out and drop it off and get ready for that. And the supercharger bracket, the aluminium bracket that Shane made up for me, runs in behind that thermostat housing, and then the thermostat housing gets bolted onto the front of it. So there we go, guys. That is the thermostat housing off. Now the bracket for the snout of the supercharger actually bolts onto that face first, and then the new thermostat housing will go on top of that, and it's got some water temperature sensors and that built into it. So down here I didn't get to show you before, but this is the wideband O2 sensor. Its control unit is sitting over in there. I think it's a dot point wideband O2 sensor, and that unit in there does all of the control and calculations and sends the data to the ECU to be read. With that O2 sensor in the exhaust system, it will basically shed tune this engine with the ECU. So I think Shane said I can put it into setup mode, and it'll take control of the engine, pull all its data off the wideband O2 sensor and tune the engine. So guys, I've got a few parts lining up along the bench here. I've got a little bit of work to do still over there. I think that's where I'm leaving it today. I've done a couple of hours work getting it apart, working a few things out. I do want to remove the rocker cover off the head and just do a double check on the tension on the ARP head bolts that I put in there. I think they should be right, but better safe than sorry. So I'll remove the rocker cover tomorrow, check the tension on those head bolts, and get ready to put this supercharger on. I'm really excited. Keep watching my videos. I'll take possession of that very soon, and it'll be full bore ahead. I've got a car show on the 29th I want to get to, so I'm really keen to get this running over the next 3 or 4 weeks. So guys, thanks for watching.